I'm going to show you guys, just give you guys a tutorial about Invision. And okay, so you guys know this, right? Let's save this tutorial. Okay, cool. So you guys already know Invision. We're just going to create something for the iPhone XS, right? So something, so like I showed you guys last time, we have the left panel is for the artboards and your layers. This is your central screen for your design, and over here you have the properties, right? So one thing that you guys might not see is, well, you guys should see this little rocket ship, and if you don't, if you look up top over here to the 3 vertical buttons, go ahead and update your application so that you can have the App Store. So one thing that it has is that the App Store has a lot of different like extensions and add-ons and stuff that you can use. So one extension that I have is Unsplash. So Unsplash basically just gives me a whole bunch of photos. So say that like I were to create a input or just create like a little form. Let's just say ooh, sorry. Drop the opacity. Let's have a border. Like, oh wait, no, a border. CAC8. And have this fill. Go up to like, actually we want like a little gray, but it should also be very light though. Overall opacity should be dropped. Alright, cool. So we can just put a text in here, send an email, you can see that. Let's put this to like being, well, the same type of gray would work. No, it would not. Let's put it, actually, let's do my color. Oops, 525456. Let's just bring this up to like 16. Whoa. 16. Oh. Let's drop this down a little bit. Change the radius, 15. Oop, this is not supposed to be 15. Let's do like 6. So we have this little input. So for me to like group these two, I want the text, and then I'm going to press shift, and you see that the rectangle over here is being highlighted blue. So when I click on that, if you look over here, both of these are highlighted. So I can do Command G, and now it's a group. So I can just put email input, right? So if I double click to actually get to the element, then I can just move it around, and you'll see that the grids expands as well, because that's the entire size of the email input, right? But I just want to center this inside of here, so I can just click on shift and hit that again. Now these two are highlighted, and I can just go over here and click the left so that it's left aligned and also vertically centered. Now I just want to click on email again and then shift it over 20 pixels. So I can just copy and paste this with Command C and Command V, and then over here just change this to like password, and then I can just drop it down however much I want, and then double click inside of here and just put password. So as you can see, it's like kind of like stretch over, but we don't want that. That's because over here it's set to the center, so you can just set it as the left. So let me set this to the left, and then I can go ahead and type it and it'll stay at the left. So we can just put some like random destination finder. Let's just put like 74. Let's press enter. Now we can have this entire thing be in the center, and use the smart grids to align it, and we can give it some little sassy font. I don't know. Normally I'll just click on one and then just go like one by one like that. So we can just go for this one. This one is pretty cool. So we want to do a background. So I can use my Unsplash right here, and I can just choose any one of these photos and put it as the fill layer, and you'll see that it's loading and it'll set it. So it just set it to like the overall background entirely, and so that's not what we want. What we want to do is we want to click on artboard 1. So now it'll change the background of that artboard, right? And then boom, as you can see, that was a lot faster. But now we really can't see anything, so we can just click on the title and make that white and make this be bold or black. Let's do bold. And also the input. So if you see the input, the easy way to get inside of a grouped element is to press and hold Command, or for people who have Windows, Control. And we can set the border to also be white as well. This is okay. Yes. Now we want to put the opacity back up there. As you can see, this little fill is still there, so that's pretty cool too, because it's opaque, so you can still sort of see it. That's pretty cool. So let's bring this white, and then click on the rectangle. And as you can see, like whenever I'm clicking on something else, you're seeing it being highlighted over here. And let's bring this opacity back up. Cool. And you know, you can just bring these two, bring them down to the bottom so people can see everything else. Let's bring the title down a little bit more, and then cool. And yeah, so this is very simple, straightforward, and it looks pretty good, right? So what you can do is you can just copy and paste this artboard. That's just how I just create artboards, so a lot quicker. And for artboard 2, I can just delete everything, and I can remove this background by just deleting it. If I right click on the empty space, I can click on delete. So here we have our regular one. I'm just gonna rename it. For this one, you have like home, and then over here we can say, actually no, this can be home. This one can be like the startup page or something. So let's just, you know, click on, we want to focus on this one, and I'm gonna click on O for a circle, and you can see with the crosshairs, and then I'm gonna hold shift, and I'm just gonna make a little profile thing. So again, even for a circle, I can click on unsplash, and I can search for, let's say, portraits. I can get a portrait photo of somebody and go to search, and I have all of these nice little portrait photos of people, and they're all like free to use with this extension. So yeah, so we can just use him as an example, and as you can see, it says to fill the oval. So it fills that oval, and we can of course, you know, drag and scale as possible, as we want. Now this resolution is kind of bad, so we're going to delete this fill, and we're just going to try to put it back in there. And there we go. Now he's pretty high def. So I just set it to 240 pixels, and then just put it in the middle, and then we can say I can do, let's create a rectangle, and we can, so one thing that's pretty cool is that you can actually make percentages. So over here in the width and the height, yeah, you have your pixels, but you can actually say that like the width is like 90%, right? And it'll like, and then once you put it in the middle, then you know that like it's 90% of that screen. So that's pretty cool. So let's go ahead and do the background as white, put a radius of like 10 pixels, and let's just do a shadow so that you guys can see. And again, y'all know my shadows, 5.2, 5.4, 5.6, and then drop it to 50%. And then we can do, how did that look? I don't want it on the, I'm not sure what I want. So I'm gonna just test values. I don't like that. That's for damn sure. I want it more so. Actually, that's actually fine. This can work. Yeah, this can work. Let's do 5, 0. Let's do like 3. No, it was fine the way it was. It was definitely fine the way it was. Okay. This is the struggles of design. Okay, cool. This is fun. So you can literally just have like 3 of these, and we can set them up so we can. So how I just did that is I have this rectangle being focused on, so I clicked on it and I'm clicking on option for Windows. I'm not sure if Windows has the option key, but yes. So I think it might be the Alt key for Windows, either Alt or the FN key. And it's 19, so I want to be a little bit even, so I just put it to 20 with the down arrow. And then I can click on the next one, and then I can just hold Shift and then the down arrow to bring that down as well. Then I can check it, check the values. It's 18, 19, 20. Okay, cool. So here, what we want to do is let me add a button over here. And for a fill, I can use this eyedropper tool. Just choose some nice little orangish reddish fall color. Actually, what we could really do is we could do a little gradient, right? So the gradient is over here. You just click on, you can have a linear gradient, a radial gradient, or even choose a background photo. We're just gonna go with a linear gradient. And for the first color, we want to do it from the left side to the right side. Yeah, let's just put it right there. Because you actually want this color over here. I'm gonna copy this hex value, put it over here. But over here, we want like that little orangish color. Some little orangish color. Yee. How does that look? I think that looks pretty cool. But again, I don't like I like my thingies a little bit rounded. This is 28, bring it up to 30. Cool. So and if anything, we can also just bring the general fill opacity to be like a little bit transparent too. And then we can just have a text inside of here. It says like sub or login, right? And let's just put this to Roboto. And bring the size down. And then we can just center this inside the middle. And group the login and the rectangle to be the login. Cool. So now whenever we just move it around, everything moves together, right? Cool. So now that looks pretty cool. So now what I want to do is whenever you click on login, it'll shoot you over here to this home page, right? So you can click on login and it's highlighted, so we can click on C and then we'll get this little blue arrow, so we can just go over there. And here's where the interactions come about, right? So I want to make this pretty cool and smooth, right? So what I can do is I would use motion, right? So let's just see how it will look. If you click on play, okay, this actually looks like pretty cool. So when we click on login, the stuff just kind of like transitions in, right? And that's pretty cool. But you know, what if we want to make it a little bit cooler? You know, so what we want is, you know, we have these layers over here, and we have rectangles. So let me put this as this one. So this one is rectangle 1. Let me change this rectangle 1. This one is rectangle 2, and this one is rectangle 3. And then I can see when I click on these, it highlights over here. Okay, cool. And then for this one, we just have the avatar. Cool. So what I want to do is I'm gonna group all of these rectangles and just call it like cards, right? So I want to take these avatar and cards I want to copy, and I'm gonna click on startup and I'm gonna paste it, right? So what I want to happen is whenever you click on startup, let me undo. Whenever you click on login, I want this avatar to sort of like zoom in, and then these cards to like swoop in like one by one, right? So we can do that. So put those back there. So what we want, because remember I told you guys, it's like start and final state. So this is the start state. What should happen? So one thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to take these cards and I'm just going to shift them off the screen so that the user can't see them, right? And then this photo, I'm just going to keep it, I'm just going to press shift and I'm just going to move him down, 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 and I'm just going to bring his opacity, well first let me move it into the middle-ish. Yeah, this should work. And then I'm just going to bring his opacity down, right? So now let's take a look and see what it looks like now. So I'll click on login, boom. That's pretty cool, right? Boom. So you see that the photo kind of like zooms in and then the cards come from the right. But I want to make it even more better. So I click on login and I'm gonna go into the timeline. The oh so beautiful thing. So if we look over here, let me just move this. Okay, so if you look at this one right here that says the startup time from startup to home, this little white dot, if this white dot is on both sides, okay, actually let's look at the avatar. So if this white dot is on both sides, that means that that element is going to animate, which is what you want. So as you can see, the only thing that we want to animate is just the avatar and the cards, which is why the both of them have white dots on both sides. But if you go back to the other things, like the destination finder, the title, the email input, and the password, and the login button, we really don't care if those are animated. We only care about the avatar and the cards, right? Which you can see are highlighted. So we can just play it and then just see how things work. So this timeline gives us control over every single thing. So one thing is that when you press play, the cards come in a little bit too early. So I'm gonna just take the cards. So the first number over here is 0, and the number over here 0.5. This is like, okay, this is how many seconds is going to start and at how many seconds is going to end. So I'm just going to take this and I'm just going to drag the start time to like a quarter of a second, right? So you'll see a delay. So do you see that? I'm not sure if you see that. Let's see. Wait, why is it doing that? Interesting. Let's bring this back. Let's see. Okay, hold on. On this avatar. Okay, let's try with the avatar. When you move this back, the avatar. Okay, that was weird. Okay, that's weird. Yeah, that's very, very weird that I did that. Let me move the cards. Okay, there you go. So as you can see the delay now, so if we put this back to 0.25 and you click it, then you see it waits, right? So we actually want the avatar to come in a little bit quicker. So we can set this to be like 0.4. And let's actually move this a little bit back to like 0.1. So the avatar will have a slight delay as well, right? So it comes in, okay, I don't know why it's like tweaking, but if we click on done and we go over here into the play and click on login, you can see that it works fine, right? So login, the avatar is the first thing that happens, So now what we want to do, click on login and go back to the timeline, is we want to work on the individual cards, because I want the cards to come in like one after the other, right? So what I'm gonna do real quick is I'm gonna just have this avatar have a little bit more of a delay and just have the cards actually start. I don't want the cards to start coming in until this is done. So it should be like it's coming in, then boom, perfect, right? But not the card. So we want to click on the card so that we can get each individual card. So I want the first one to come in, then the second one, then the third one, and I want a delay for each card. So the first rectangle is going to come in, and then I'm just going to slide the second rectangle over. So what is this? This starts at 0.58. I'm going to start at 0.78. So 0.2 seconds after. Oops. 0.2 seconds later. And you can see it. The first one comes in and the second one. So now I can do the third one to be 0.98 because the second one comes in at 0.78. So I can make the third one have another delay. So if we play it, then the things come in, and then you have these cards go one by one by one, right? This goes so the profile photo. Wait, let's look at it a lot slower. So you click on login, and then the profile photo shows up, and then the first card, second card, third card, right? And what we could do is to make things even flashy. You see this little wave over here. We can that's for like the easing, right? So we can have it do a little bounce for like the last one. So it's like, okay, boom, that's like the last one. So when we go back to the first artboard and we click on play, actually let's put this back to 1x. So we can press play. Ooh, okay, actually let's just get out of here, because if your timeline is ever tweaking, just click on done and then just click on the play button. So it comes in. You see that? Let's do it again. You can always use the arrow keys, the left and right arrow keys, to go back and forward between your artboards. So you click on login, that comes up, boom, 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 and then you can just just go even more deeper. So the total duration, that doesn't matter if you're working with the timeline. It doesn't matter. Like, you can just bring this out over here if you wanted. Like, that's not a problem. Or you can just put it back to where it was. But yeah, so we can just play with that and just say that all of these cards, or they all have 3 different types of easings, right? So we can play that, and then we can play it, and then we can check on it. Yeah, that was a little bit weird. So again, if your timeline is ever messing up, just click on the actual play button. Oh yeah, so they all look weird. That's all. I don't like that. But as you can see, you can literally have control of every single thing. So I'm just keep this to ease both. Put them all for ease both. Actually, no. We just want them to ease out. Yeah. Ease out. Ease out. Let's play. Oh, it's tweaking. Alright, press play, log in. There you go. And you see like smoothly coming out. Boom, boom, boom. And there you go. So yeah. So again, how we were able to do that is, you have your start and end state, right? But in order to have that animation, you have to have the elements exactly on both artboards. And you can see over here in the home, in the end state, we have just the avatar and then the cards. And then in the starter page, we have the avatar and the cards. But where do they start? So the cards were originally in the middle, but then we just moved them over out of the frame. Now I just use shift and the right keys, because if I drag them, then I might lose my Y position where I started. As you can see by this top purple line, it's higher than the cards over here, and that would just look too funky. So that's why I just use shift, so it maintains the how high it is. And then for the avatar, as you can see, this little blue, if we zoom in, this blue line, I just shrunk it down. That's all. I just shrunk it down to 40 pixels and just centered it in the middle so that it has that popping up effect, right? And that's all. So yeah.